Okay, so welcome everyone to Tuesday meditation. So let's start tonight by I just sent you all in search of some kind of little prop or something. And what I'd like you to do is hold whatever little object you've got. Doesn't matter what it is, but just hold it in some such way that you're able to hold it in your hand, but it's kind of in danger. You're kind of on the brink of dropping it. Okay. All right. So hold it in your hand and now worry about dropping it. Okay. Worry about dropping it. Okay. Now stop worrying. Just continue to hold it the same way. Stop worrying. Okay. Now worry again. Worry about holding it. And stop worrying. And worry again. Notice what that feels like. Notice what it feels like to worry. In fact, do more of it. Worry harder. See how much you can accentuate that feeling. How hard can you worry? Okay. And now stop. Stop doing that. Okay, good. Let's put that aside. Any observations? We just did a little field experiment. Any field notes on that? What did you notice?
It was harder to hold when I worried.
Harder to hold when you're worried. Anyone else find that? Yeah, sometimes you might find that. Sometimes you might not. Did anyone find that worrying helped you hold it? Worrying made it easier to hold? Nah. So far, based on, it's a small sample size, small statistical sample, but I feel pretty confident we could do this with 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people and get pretty much the same result. Worrying either makes things worse or has no effect. Interesting. Interesting. What did you notice about the feeling of worrying? I asked you to notice what it felt like. Anything in particular you can report? What does that feel like? Yeah, Philomena?
For me, I found that my breathing increased
Mm-hmm.
got faster.
Mm-hmm.
So I started breathing like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
more quickly.
Right. Right. Okay. And that's consistent with, everything we know about functioning of the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system and the mind body stuff. Sure, that makes sense.
I felt it in my stomach, like a little prickly, acidy, little, just subtle, but I could almost immediately, once it goes into the worry mode. It was a little hard to get into the worry mode, but once I did, I could just feel it in the stomach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't stomach it.
Can't. Yeah. Oh, isn't that interesting how we have all this language about that we don't think about usually, that is about that mind-body connection. I can't stomach it. Oh, I'm really shouldering a burden. Why doesn't she get off my back? That's such a pain in the neck. That's such a pain in the ass. Right? That's right. That comes from someplace. Okay. Okay. So having said that, let's just sit comfortably and close our eyes. And actually keep your eyes open for a few moments. And let's take a long, slow, deep breath in. And as we're breathing in, pull your shoulders up like you're trying to stick them in your ears. So ready? Here we go. And when you get to where you're really, you're full of breath. Keep the shoulders up there. Just maintain the breath for a few moments. And then all at once, we're going to open the mouth, drop the shoulders, and release. Make sound like that when you release. Okay? And again, don't be shy to make sound. And again. And close the eyes. And let's do one more. Okay. Now just allow the breath to be however it is. Not trying to do anything special with the breath. Just sitting. Just sitting, just being. And now please think of some situation that you've had in your life in the past, or I guess preferably in the present. Maybe something you've sometimes worried about. So now instead of holding an object in our hand, we're holding this situation, this issue in our mind. We just think of it, and that's it. We're just thinking of it. And now worry about it. And stop worrying. And once again, worry about it. Worry harder. Notice what it feels like to worry about the issue. Worry more. And stop worrying. Drop the worry. And again, worry about the issue. Worry more. Really worry hard. Worry hard. And now drop it. Let that go. Stop worrying. And just sit. Just be. Just leave things as they are, however they are. The breath comes and goes naturally all by itself. sensations come and go naturally all by themselves. Sometimes you might notice colors coming and going behind the eyelids, or not. But if you do, just notice that they come and go all by themselves. There's no doing. We're not a doer here. We're the open space within which things do themselves. And that's not an instruction. That's not a thing that we try to be. That's a pointing. I'm pointing that out. We can notice that that's the situation. There's no doing involved in experiencing a sound coming, like the sound of my voice or anything else, and then the sound going away. No doing involved in the coming of a sensation, whatever, the crick in your neck or the itch in your kneecap or whatever, and then the going away. We're just the aware space, the space of awareness, within which all these comings and goings of all these phenomena is registered. But this space of awareness is non-phenomenal. There's no happening to it. There's no attributes or qualities to it. Just pure, open, empty, soundless, colorless, textureless space, but aware. It's always here. It's always been here. We're not creating it. We wouldn't know how to create it. But for once, we're noticing it and allowing ourselves to settle back into it. Settling back into this open space of awareness that we've always been, even if we haven't noticed it before. not trying to concentrate, not trying to achieve anything, not trying to feel anything special, not trying to be mindful, not trying. Anything that we might possibly try is just some project that the mind has cooked up. And the mind is way too small. The mind is just one more function within this boundless space of awareness, which is already, always already here. So anytime we notice ourselves caught up in the mind's clever little plans, just have a good laugh at yourself and relax your grip on that plan. Relax back into this aware space that's already here. This silence that's already you. No one could ever create this. No one can ever get rid of it. We can only distract ourselves from it or relax back into it. Those are our only choices. Any feelings that might arise, whether feelings of elation or depression or energy or fatigue, boredom, restlessness, anything. Just notice that those feelings feel a certain way. They're sensations in the body. And those feelings, those sensations in the body are just like anything else. They're one more happening, one more phenomenon occurring within this empty awareness space. And like all the other phenomena that appear here, these feelings are powerless to affect the awareness space. The awareness space is by nature, always empty, always clear, like a mirror that can reflect any color, but the colors don't stain the mirror. The mirror retains its perfect, empty clarity. Again, that's not something we're trying to do. We're just pointing out how it is. That's the nature of our awareness. So boredom comes and goes, elation comes and goes, fine, doesn't matter. No feelings are better or worse than the others, and none of them are problems. If we understand this, if we notice this, clearly notice that our awareness is like an empty mirror or empty space, that doesn't matter what objects or how many objects appear in the mirror or appear in the space, they can't damage it. So we can be perfectly neutral about whatever comes and goes here. And just continue to relax back into this aware space within which the comings and goings happen on their own. Just allowing yourself to completely relax back into yourself, to completely dissolve and melt back into this open, silent awareness that you are. Just melting back into it, holding nothing back. Don't leave any little trail of breadcrumbs to find your way back out. Buy a one-way ticket. Just dissolve so deeply into this space that we could never come out. Okay, so leave the eyes closed. And take 2 or 3 minutes to ease the body out before opening the eyes when it feels comfortable to do so. Okay, how's everyone doing? Everybody good? Give me a sign, some thumbs up, thumbs down, shrug. Good. Good, good. Okay. See you, Fuding. Thanks for dropping by. Any questions about the meditation or observations? Tell me about your experience this time with our eyes closed, not holding a physical object, but bringing up mentally an issue, and then worrying, not worrying, worrying, not worrying. What was your experience with that? What did you notice, or what does it make you wonder?
One of the things that I've noticed
Mm-hmm.
recently, and I'm sure it's because of something you've said previously,
Mm-hmm.
is I fixate on something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm talking up a storm. And all of a sudden I say to myself, who are you talking to?
Right.
You know, and it dawns on me that this is just going on in my very own head.
Mm-hmm.
And if I knew the answer in the first place, I wouldn't be chewing on it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beyond my mental abilities at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to reach outside
Mm-hmm.
to get it going. And it's beginning to fascinate me because it's like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
wasting all this time
Yeah.
of silence.
Yeah. But you've been doing that all your life. to a
Probably.
degree. Most of
I've
most
just
of,
become aware of it.
most of us
though.
have chat. Exactly. You've become aware of it. Now, this is very important. Thank you, Judy, because you've raised a very important point that sometimes people get confused by. Sometimes they think, oh man, now this meditation, I used to be able to just sit and feel quiet inside. Now I'm just thinking many more thoughts than before. There's more chatter going on than before, right? This thing is taking me in 180 degrees wrong. It's taken me in the wrong direction. But of course, and we know from the physiological studies that have taken place, no, the mind body is settling down in meditation. It's becoming quieter. But what happens is a couple of things. One is, as we become quieter, we notice the noise that's there. We become quieter, and also as we become quieter, it's like, if you've got a lake with a choppy surface, you don't see reflections clearly. As the surface becomes calmer, we start to notice, oh, here's the tree reflecting, and here's the book, and here's the bush, and here's the rock, and so forth, right? So we start to notice how, paradoxically, because we're becoming quieter, we start to notice how noisy it is in there. Okay? But noticing is huge. Most people are walking around, oh, this stuff going on, not even noticing. You know what? I just remembered this thing years ago. This is when I was teaching meditation in New Orleans. God, this is like 1972 or thereabouts. I was teaching in New Orleans, and this one girl came for instruction, and was her first meditation, and it was her first meditation, and she opened her eyes at the end of the meditation, and she said, wow, I never realized before, just now as I was slowly opening my eyes, I realized, oh, I can see the insides of my eyelids. Right? As the eyelids lift, it's kind of like a curtain coming up. I've been alive for 25 years or whatever. I never noticed that. Okay. And that's just kind of a silly little thing, but the noticing, it doesn't matter what you're noticing. It's the fact of the noticing. Oh, I'm in here. This is my life. I'm awake in here. How do things work? What's going on here? So it's the same kind of thing. Oh, I'm doing all this chatter, and how did you put it? Who am I talking to? Right? Who am I talking to?
Listening.
Right? Wait, well, okay, first, who am I talking to, and have I gotten an answer? Ever.
Never.
Ever, right? And or am I the one that's talking, or am I the one that's hearing?
Yeah.
Right? Or am I, what I think might be a more accurate description, am I the open space of awareness within which talk goes on, listen goes on, but the old Punch and Judy show, right? The struggle. Yeah, but what about, right? All going on for, however many 50, 60 years we've been around.
Mhm.
But noticing it is the moment we notice the thing, we've already got one foot out of it. If you're noticing a thing, right? This is important. If you're noticing a thing going on, it means you're no longer completely caught up in it.
Yeah.
There's the part of you that's noticing is outside, noticing, observing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the first step, noticing. The second step is to be really clear. Don't try to stop it. Okay? Or go ahead and try to stop it and find out how that works for you. Okay?
It does.
And sometimes we may have to go through trying to stop it, and go try that enough until we get good and convinced that no, we can't stop it. Okay? Spoiler alert, you can't stop it. You heard it here first. Okay. But then once we kind of surrender all our, because then that just kind of brings in a third character into the Punch and Judy show. Then we got Punch and Judy and, Max, whatever. Max is the one who, hey, you kids, stop. You stop all that talking. You stop all that listen. You guys settle down. And of course, that's just adding a third noisy character into the cast to struggle with the other two. And then you go, oh, I got to try not to try. So then we bring in someone else. We bring in Fred to struggle with Max, who's struggling with Punch and Judy. And finally, you just have to go, screw it. Right? You just have to have a good laugh at yourself and give up
Yeah.
and know that it doesn't matter because it's all just colors coming and going on the surface of the mirror. And the mirror, by its nature, continues to be open, crystalline, colorless, and infinitely deep, right? How far back does a mirror go? How far back does its reflectivity go? It goes back infinitely deep. So the more we just, okay, whatever's going on, all this inner talking, all this whatever, outer noise, just, okay, let it be there. Let it be, let whatever comes, come. This is actually the famous meditation instruction from Sri Ramana Maharshi. People asked him to meditate. He said, let what comes, come. Let what goes, go. See what remains. All right? Let what comes, come. Let what goes, go. See what remains. And of course, what remains is this silent, open space of awareness, which is really what we are.
Mhm.
The stuff that we usually think we are, a body, a mind, that's all stuff that's observed within that silent awareness. That's more stuff reflecting in the mirror. You have a body. How do you know you have a body? Oh, I feel it. I see. Right? Okay, that's all phenomena being experienced within this open mirror of awareness. Right? The body doesn't perceive awareness. The mind doesn't perceive awareness. The emotions don't perceive awareness. Awareness perceives, that's why it's called awareness. It's aware of, it perceives the feelings, the mind, the body, the environment. All this stuff is happening within this space. And it's always right here. And we just more and more get habituated to, oh yeah, I know I don't have to look for this. I don't have to look from scratch every time. I've been doing this meditation. I don't have to go through, oh, is it over here? Is it over here? It's not any of those places. It's right where we are, right where we're looking. Just settle here. And more you can do that during the day. Especially when whatever stuff's going on, the shit hits the fan. Lunch didn't get done on time, or the heat's not working, the AC's not working. Okay. Let's reset here. Reset. Let's settle into this. Okay, now deal with the crisis. Now deal with the situation. And you deal.
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Irene.
Oh.
The other day I caught myself doing the descending fifths because I guess I was, I don't know, out of it or something, or stressed out. And all of a sudden I just went right into the descending fifths, which I like to do to get into meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was listening to the other guru I watch, Mingyur, I can't pronounce his name.
Mingyur Rinpoche.
Mingyur, okay.
Mingyur, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said that especially when you're first starting out, I rather do a professional yoga meditation where you do it for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But he said that when you're first starting out, you can just go, just go into regular just meditation mode with whatever you're doing, but you do it just quick. It's like 2 seconds, like 5 minutes at the most,
Mm-hmm.
And I tried doing that,
Mhm.
but it was too forced.
Yeah.
And yet,
Go ahead.
and yet the other meditation where you sit down and you know you're going to sit down and you're going to relax and all that stuff works better for me
Mhm.
because I pick a time and every day to do it, So I would just like to be able to go into meditation like just for like 5-minute spans during the day.
Right, right, right. Well,
And-
Irene, I like what I'm hearing from you here because I'm hearing a mature practitioner, someone who's saying, okay,
God.
this was recommended, this was recommended. I tried this, this thing's working for me. So I think and to not get too bowled over by things that you hear people say, even if it's a wonderful teacher.
Right.
I've been I've been with some really
I-
wonderful teachers, and
I know.
I've had to, some stuff worked for me for a while, and then some stuff I had to move on from,
Right.
in the ways I practice, and for that matter in the ways that I teach. But so what I would say is, yeah, do what's working for you for now, and I think you'll find, we'll check back, remind me in 6 months or something, and
Okay.
we'll check back in on that, and there'll be a point where you can just, like when Yafa and I sit down for a meal, or
Mhm.
if I sit down for a meal by myself, and this actually goes back to my days with Maharishi. He
Oh.
recommended that before a meal you close your eyes, and he had a little prayer to say before meals. I've forgotten
Right.
that prayer. I forgot that prayer years ago.
Oh,
But that doesn't matter. What I do is I sit and close my eyes and just let things be for a few moments before. I can't eat. I've been doing that for so long. I can't
wow.
eat without. If I go to a restaurant and I think it'll look weird doing it, I do it in some sneaky way. Right? I
Oh my
see.
gosh.
And and when Yafa and I are sitting down for a meal together, we hold hands while we're doing it. It's very nice.
Oh, yeah, that's
And,
nice.
and if we're at a restaurant, we sneak it in. We hold hands under the table. I'm letting you in on our little secret here.
Oh, okay.
But what I find is just all I'm doing is closing my eyes. I don't have any intention to
Right.
meditate for a long
Right.
time or short time or at all. I'm just closing my eyes before I eat. And then when I open my eyes, I feel, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was nice. Yeah, I just melted into that space. There it is again, some more. And by
Okay.
the way, it's really nice, especially if you've been running around preparing a meal or doing what you have to do before you can sit down, and you can get
Right.
very caught up and oh, okay,
Right.
now the veggies are ready. Oh, I don't want to overcook the rice or whatever you're doing. And you can sit down and you're still caught up in that sort of frantic rhythm. So
Right.
if you do this, you close your eyes and maybe take a nice breath. And just sit there with your eyes closed.
Uh-huh.
And then you open it up, and you've sort of created now a little island of quietness where to enjoy your meal in. You've sort of set it off a little from all the faster rhythms of the day. It's better for your digestion.
Oh, yeah.
Also, if you're trying to watch what you eat, sometimes we can get into I know this has happened to me sometimes in my life. Just get into kind of compulsive eating, because you're not noticing what you're eating. And this way, now you've got a little more silence. And just like we were saying with Sister Judy here, when you get a little more settled into the silence, then you notice the stuff that's going on. And you notice,
Right.
oh, I'm shoveling this food in without tasting it. Let me.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another thing. While we're talking about this, this is Uncle Dean's mealtime tips. Now, no one asked.
Okay.
No one asked for it, but you're getting it. So when I'll do this left-handed because the mic's in the way. All right. So you take your spoon or your fork or whatever, you take your mouthful of food, your spoonful of soup or whatever it is, and then put it down. Put the utensil down
Right.
while you're chewing that mouthful of food. Then pick it up again for your next mouthful and put it down while you're chewing. That's
Right.
something you might want to try, y'all. You watch other people, how other people eat, And a lot of them, you'll see that
You
as
just
they're,
gobble it down.
yeah, and that as they're chewing and swallowing the one mouthful of food, it's like they're hovering. They're like hawks, hovering over the
Yeah.
plate with the fork ready to
Right.
swoop down on the next mouthful of food.
Right.
And so what that means is your attention is in the next mouthful and you're not tasting this mouthful.
Right.
And
Instead of
that
enjoying the food.
exactly enjoying where you are, enjoying
Right.
the taste of the present, which is the only real taste. You can never taste anything in the future or the past.
Right.
But it doesn't keep people from acting as if they can, from leaning forward into that anticipation. And then because it'll never be satisfying, you just tend to keep shoveling it in.
Yeah, I hate that when I see that, because it's like,
Yeah.
why are they rushing like that? Why can't they taste
yeah.
what they're eating, you know?
Yeah. And I know people who are like gourmet cooks. They're
Uh-huh.
really into the finest food and they know all about the finest ingredients and preparation methods and all of that. And they prepare
Right.
these wonderful meals and then they go,
Then they go,
I don't get it. But you know what? That's their life.
Right.
There's only one life we can do something about, and that's this one. That's ours.
right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did your parents tell you to chew your food 100 times before you swallow?
No, they did tell us to chew our food.
Yeah.
But in the 60s for a while,
Mm-hmm.
this was like the first of at least in my lifetime, the first of the fad diets was something
Right.
called macrobiotics, where
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, macrobiotics, and the
Yeah.
book Zen Macrobiotics by George Osawa, and
Like,
you had the yin foods and the yang foods that you were trying to balance, and supposedly the most balanced, perfectly balanced food was short grain brown rice. So you ate a lot of rice,
yeah,
and
that's what pushing.
he said to chew every mouthful at least 50 times. He said, and if you're
Right.
sick, chew every mouthful at least 100 times. So I
Uh-huh.
did that for a while, and I don't do that diet anymore, but it was good. It got me into the habit of chewing, paying attention.
Right.
The food should be in liquid form before you swallow it.
Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's all helpful.
Right.
And really all of it is like bringing this influence of settledness and clarity and balance, into these different areas of our life. So we've just
Mhm.
now been talking about bringing that into eating. Now think about other areas of your life. Think about, maybe if you do this thing professionally, or you do this thing as a creative art, or this thing as a hobby,
Right.
or you have this relationship with this person and this other relationship with this person. And without making a big deal about it, sometimes just by putting some attention, how can I allow? So now through all this meditation, I know what silence tastes like, so to speak, right? I know what
right.
that settledness, what that non-franticness, that not being caught up, I know
Right.
what it tastes like. I know what it feels like. We just did a demonstration of, how I can bring the influence of that more into my eating. Its influence goes into everything to some, automatically, but how can I, it kind of percolates in, but how can I help it along by consciously aiding it, because we've got these old habits that may be contrary to that are long standing. So how can I help to kind of set those habits aside? So let's take it with regard to, let's say, my relationship with, this XYZ person. How can I bring more of that sense of that spaciousness, right? You know how I think for a lot of people, our relationships with a lot of people, after a while, we've kind of decided, we may not think about this consciously, but we've kind of decided, oh, this is what this is what this person is like. And this is what my relationship with the person is like. It gets defined, right?
Right.
And anything that is defined, that is defined, it's confined,
Right.
right? Right?
Right.
It's like, okay, when I talk with this person, there's kind of this amount of jokiness and this amount, we don't go past that. And this is this, oh, the person maybe it's a little more formal, a little more, whatever. We have, we construct these notions of who this person is and how we can relate to them. And so
Right.
it can be very limiting and in some cases, in a lot of cases, I think, the way we're defining and therefore confining the way of relating has to do with a lot of old baggage.
Mhm.
You know, this is this thing that happened a year ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
I know people who are still fighting with their parents and their parents have been dead for a dozen years.
Yikes.
You know,
Yeah.
that of course that fighting this is going back to what Judy was talking about. That's all this internal dialogue. But
Right.
we put those people inside our head, right? Okay.
Yeah,
And
we do.
right? And you know, in the today's Punch and Judy show, the role of Punch will be played by Harris Slider, you know, my dad who died in 1988, right?
Wow.
I can bring him in to say, Dean, well, you've got this stuff sprayed all over the. That's a Yiddish word. Sprayed spread out all over the living room floor, blah, blah, right?
Oh,
Right. So but again, the first step is just noticing. Oh, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
that's-
When you notice
okay.
you're doing it, you know, this whole exercise with holding the precarious object, worry about it,
Right.
don't worry about it, worry, and then a little more abstract with an issue internally, worry, don't worry, worry, don't worry. Can you see that what it's doing is, just as Judy was saying, noticing, oh, I am conducting this dialogue. I'm the one that's talking inside and I'm the one that's listening inside.
Right.
In the same way,
No,
this is noticing, oh, I'm worrying.
Okay.
I'm the one, right? If I feel that, you know, when someone is sitting outside your house with their car idling for a long time and that,
Yeah, I got a neighbor like that.
yeah, right.
It's he's got like a revved up car, and at 5 o'clock in the morning he revs the car up, and it scares me and it wakes me
Okay.
up sometimes because it's like a bomb, you know. So this guy, he's been living there for about the last year, and it's like
Right.
it's like drives a person crazy. Don't they
Yeah,
care
yeah.
about other neighbors, you know?
Well, evidently not. Yeah.
No.
So
No.
this is another one of those headlines. You know, you're in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Florida man.
Yeah, exactly. But
Florida
he's
man.
from upstate New York, so
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it happens here in sunny Santa Monica as well. So you know how annoying that can be. Now, so the thing is noticing, okay, this worrying is going on and it's annoying and it's like an engine that's idling.
Mhm.
But in this case, what we can notice is, oh, why is this engine idling? Oh, it's me that's doing it. I'm the one that's sitting here with my foot on the gas pedal. And once we notice our foot is on the gas pedal, we can take our foot off the gas pedal. Now, suddenly we have freedom. Now, 5 seconds later, we may find our foot back on the gas pedal because we have a lifetime habit of doing that.
Right.
So that's why we continue to practice, continue to notice, oh, I'm doing this. I can choose to do it or not do it. Let's see which one feels better. That's why I had you go, okay, worry, don't worry, worry, don't worry. Now, you may not have had what you'd consider a perfect experience of, okay, now it's going,
Yeah.
and then totally letting go. That's fine. If just to some degree you get some corner of that, you get some taste of that. Okay, yeah, I get some sense of I'm doing this. I notice that I'm doing this. I'm the one pressing down the gas, so I can
Right.
choose to stop pressing down the gas. That's huge right there.
Okay.
That's huge. And,
Right.
and then your the degree to which you are tuned into that and are finding that space of freedom to stop doing that stuff, that will only get clearer and clearer, only get better and better.
Okay.
And then we can bring it more and more, as I say, into these other areas of our life. How am I revving up that engine in these relationships? How am I bringing in this sense of into relating to this person or relating to this situation? Can I take my foot off the pedal for that thing and just leave, open space. Let's go into it innocent. Let's walk into it like we've never been here before. What's going on here? You know,
Right.
you might be pleasantly surprised.
Mhm. Yeah, well, the meditation has helped, like I said, I mean, with, with relations, with my daughter and her fiance, and it's gotten much better.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's
they
great.
even notice it. So,
There you go. There you go. There you go.
yeah.
You
She'll
know,
tell me sometimes, go meditate,
that's great. That they know. That's fantastic. So they've become the encouragers of your path.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. You know, people sometimes ask, well, how do I know I'm doing it right? How do I know it's working? How do I know? Is it like if I get this energy going up my spine? Is it if I get this silence without thoughts? If I get the, I
Right.
go, is your life getting smoother?
Mhm.
It's the other 23 hours of the day where the rubber meets the road. Are things
Right.
getting smoother with people? Are you feeling more space, more sense of spaciousness, of ease? Is it, less like grinding your gears, just more like frictionless flow, and then if that's the case, then the meditation is working. And sometimes other people will notice it before we do, or more
Right.
clearly than we do, because we're in the middle of it.
Uh-huh.
It's like, the fish may not realize it's in this water, in this fish bowl, but other
Right.
people will see it. They'll say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
So,
great.
yeah.
So just keep. That's a sign to
So
keep doing what you're doing.
I am. I'm not stopping.
Yeah. That's
I
great.
wish I would have done this since 1993, but I mean, I didn't get into it
Yeah.
back then. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Whenever you come to it is exactly the right time.
Right.
If you come to this on your deathbed,
Right.
right? Just think of two people. Let's say the same person. Let's clone this person. Let's do a thought experiment here. Here's this person, exactly the same person with the same personality, the same traits, the same experiences, the same life situations, the same things they're stressed about, and
Right.
then they get on their deathbed. While they're on their deathbed, we clone them. So we got one over here, one over here, and then one of them, somehow learns to meditate, to let go, to relax back into that open space of awareness,
Right.
and the other doesn't.
Mm.
Okay. Think about the difference. Can you see what a blessing it is for this person?
Oh,
Even
I
if-
can see an expression on a face by,
Yeah.
some people die and they have a real bad expression,
yeah.
on their face. Like it really was painful. And some people, when they die, they just have a, like a sleepy look, or just a calmness about them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I see when you just describe that, the two sides of that. the
Yeah.
Person fighting it and the person just laying back into it.
My first wife, Maggie. Irene, did you meet Maggie?
Oh yeah, we sat down and we had some food on the table and stuff. Yeah, we were.
Right.
Yeah, I met her.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So, when Maggie got sick with cancer, and,
Surprised.
in the first time, and then she was supposedly in remission, and then she got sick, and then the second time,
Oh, we went through that.
we knew she was terminal. Yeah, we went through that.
Yeah.
And we finally got to the point where, it becomes kind of like a chess game. Okay, we can move the king over here, but now and you're in the corner, and you're out of moves, and there's nothing, else that the doctors can really do. And she'd been on, getting all her nutrition intravenously,
Oh,
and so the doctors said, okay, this is when we take
Oh.
away the nutrition.
uh-huh.
And so what I did was, one thing I'd learned from the experience of those last several months was,
Right.
if you want to know stuff, ask the nurses.
Yeah,
Not
Yeah,
always,
that's
not
true.
always, not always the doctors. Ask the nurses, right?
uh,
So I went for a walk with the nurse, and I said, because we had just disconnected the IV, the nutrition,
oh,
and I said, well, how long will it be now?
mhm.
And she said, well, it depends. She said it can be anything from, a day to a month. It depends on how at peace she is
Oh, I
with
see.
herself and with her life, and
Oh.
how, whether there's a feeling of, boy, I picked the right nurse to talk to. It was great. She
Yeah,
said-
you did. She
yeah,
was like
she said,
really
if she feels resolved about things, it would be faster. Otherwise, trying to hang on, trying to figure things out, resolve things could take, a couple of weeks or a month.
You just described my mom. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't want to let go. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in
And
the
yet
case,
my husband, he went, pretty quick.
right. Well, in the case of Maggie, so, the nurse said that, and then she went that night.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And so, obviously when you get that news, and, Tara, my daughter, actually had stayed with her that night, and
Oh,
I'd gone back home, and when Tara
Right.
called me, and obviously there's the shock. Oh, that's it. You're
yeah,
the
that's
mother of
even
your
though,
children. Yeah, she's passed, but at the same time, there was a feeling of, oh, that's nice. She was okay with things. She was resolved. She was at peace.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But that was a good nurse you met because they're not all that in tune,
Yeah, yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good nurse. That was a good
Yeah.
nurse. The nurses are the ones. Actually, this was when my mom was dying of cancer years earlier,
Oh, yeah.
and the nurse. I remember a nurse was the one that showed me where what do you call the thing that goes under the nose for the breathing? It starts with a C.
Oh, I
Cannula.
don't know.
I think it's called a
I
cannula.
don't know.
Yeah, and the nurse was the
I
one
know-
that showed me where the cannula goes over the ears, and it can irritate people's ears. She says
Right.
you take some cotton from the tops of your medicine
Right.
bottles, and you put it over on the tops of your
Oh,
ears.
that's a
under
good
the
idea.
cannula. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
right.
Wow. Yeah,
So
it could irritate somebody.
yeah, so yeah, the nurses are the guardian angels in my
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
Okay, so
So that, yeah.
good. So what else? Anything else from anyone this evening? Okay. So let's do a little let's do some mantra. Some singing, some sound meditation, some singing meditation. You hearing the uke okay? So most of you know the drill on mantra, which is A, don't worry about what it quote unquote means, what it means. They all mean the same thing. They all mean infinite. They all mean you. They all mean opening to the boundless. They all mean love. Little different ways into that infinity, but it's all the same infinity. And the other thing is, when we sing mantra, it sounds like we're repeating ourselves. Say, how many hundreds of times are you going to say this? But there's actually no repetition because it's only ever right now. So anytime you feel, wait a minute, this is repeating, that's reminding you, settle back into just this one right now. Because things only seem repetitious if we're going horizontally on the surface. Like if on the surface we make meaning. So if I say, okay, it's 72 degrees outside, and then I say, hey, it's 72 degrees outside, and I say 72 degrees outside, that's repetition because we're on the horizontal level. Only have to say it once. But in mantra, we're using the words vertically. They're like a drilling tool to drill deeper and deeper into the boundless self. So if I say Rama 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 Shri Rama Shri Rama. Okay? Doesn't matter how many times I say Rama, we're just going deeper, we're going inside. So let it wash over you or sing along, whatever you feel like. Rama 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 Shri Rama Shri Rama 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 Shri Rama 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 Shri 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 Rama Shri Rama. Okay. Okay. Sometimes one of these songs, one of these mantras will really speak to a person, and maybe not, maybe a different one does, maybe none of them do, maybe all of them do. It's all good. It's all good. But you may have heard me say this before. This especially I've found in working with prisoners. If there's one mantra, one song that you find, oh, when I hear this, maybe I don't even plan to like sing it. It just kind of comes up in the back of my mind. There's just somehow it helps me to reconnect. You know, that's kind of a magical thing. There's a song. How many people have a song that when they sing it or remember it, it helps them reconnect with boundlessness, with the place of infinite okayness? That's a good thing. So, may all beings throughout the universe and all possible universes, one way or another, through song, through story, by hook or by crook, through meditation or through getting whacked on the side of the head by some situation, whatever it freaking takes, may all beings swiftly notice this place of infinite okayness where they've been all along. And thus may all conflict and suffering spontaneously evaporate like the bad dream it's always been. And the Sanskrit for that wish: Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Dean.
Thanks
Thank
for,
you.
Thanks for playing.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank
Thank
you.
See you around. Enjoy being.
Will